this part we're going to make is ears. The only difference between these two ears is the first stitch. So first stitch is different. After that, they are both the same. When changing from yellow to black strings, we're going to use brown strings instead of black. But because it's pretty hard to see black strings, so make sure you use black strings instead of brown strings. I also found the footage from changing light brown strings back to black strings. Whoever is interested, I'll put an unlisted link in the description. But again, it's totally not necessary for you to watch because on your side, you'll end up with black strings. When changing colors of ears, we actually have a box stitch. So we actually change colors of a box stitch. I posted a video on that. You can check on the description or on the cards. So I do recommend to watch it and then try to make a sample of changing the colors of a box stitch. Once you get the hang of it, try to do it on the ears. So that's it, and let's begin. So we're gonna start with his right ear. So from his point of view, which is on this side, the left side. Okay. Gonna take 3 new strings, 2 short, 1 long. The long will be 1.5 feet. The 2 short will be 1 feet. Okay. 2 short 40 centimeters, 1 long which is about 70 centimeters. Gonna take this, cutting the string just a little bit so we have here a pointy string. Next we're gonna take the left side here, insert through the first loop in the corner. For that you will need the scissors. I'm gonna open it. Next gonna insert. Okay. Next, insert through the next loop. Not gonna work. Can do it again. Gonna work. Okay. Looks good. Next, I'm gonna insert the 2 short strings through this loop. Okay. Find the center. Always find the center on both strings. And final string. First of all, just gonna sharpen it. So, taking the final yellow string, can open up here, and I'm gonna insert through here, string here. So this is a loop that was on the first stitch, this loop here. Now let's show it on the other side. So inserting from here, beginning out here. So let's show you. And find the center. one final adjustment. You want to take a vertical string, this one. Gonna open this loop here with a scissors, expand it. Okay, gonna look like this. Take the vertical string and I want to insert through the loop. So back to here. So give me a moment to pull the string, and you'll see where it went, from where to where. Okay, here it looks better. So you see, it came from here, from these two loops, underneath here, came here, and went here. Okay, good. Make sure it's not twisted. Went here, went here, went here, and then underneath this loop. Okay, if you don't understood, try to rewind it. It's not going to be the same on the other side. Next, gonna make a right hand stitch. Gonna take a far string, a break stitch. Okay, so this will be on the right. This one, you see it is gonna be on the left because it's closer to the left side. So it stays on the left. I'm gonna weave accordingly. So first this one, we'll weave on border. Then this one. Finally, taking the last string here. Okay, start to stitch. Now it's the easy part. We did the first stitch. First stitch is the hard part. The other will be easy. So see, looks how nicely it goes. Okay, let's make another, let's see, another 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2 stitches, another 2 stitches. Okay, one more. Good. Gonna make one more stitch. So after making the 4 stitches, we're gonna make a box stitch. So we're gonna make a box stitch with these 4 strings, but putting these 2 in between. Okay, so taking this on the right side, this on the left, this one here, over under, this one here, over under, taking this one in between, and this one also in between. Okay. Now, stitching the stitch is very crucial. You're gonna do 2 steps. First of all, stitch for stitch as much as you can. Don't pull these strings. This won't help. So do very try to make it as small, shrink it as much as you can until you realize that you can't do anymore, stitch anymore. Right away you're gonna make your next stitch. So making another box stitch right now. And stitch again. Okay, so once you did 2 stitches, things will work well. You don't need to stretch anymore. So after doing that, pull the middle strings, stitch again, okay. Next I'm over exaggerating, but I put some problems on the stitch. So normally you get a really nice side. You see here is a really nice side. But let's exaggerate, and usually what you'll see is you'll see that one loop is very unstretched, and then you get here and get back here. But see, this is a problem. See, it's a pretty large loop. You want to make it more stretched. So how you do it? Very easy. You follow the string. So it went here, came here, okay, and then it came here, went back. So from here it went back to here. This is the string. This loop is this string. To fix this loop, you want to stretch what this string was before. We follow it, and we see the string went here. I'm gonna take a loop here, and I'm gonna stretch it, okay? And you'll see that it will fix it. So fixing the loop, stretching, and then getting back straight away. And then stretch a stitch again, and you have it. Okay, this is how fixing a loop goes. So I have it again. Let's do it again, and you'll see if we'll fix a little bit more. So this can take time on your side as well. You'll see you get a nice side. Next, we're gonna cut the 2 strings. Before doing that, I'm just gonna glue between them. just for being more safe. Okay, in between with 2 strings, and I'll cut. So one more time to stretch it. Cutting strings. Okay, you can also glue again here in between. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna straight ahead. I'm gonna make 2 more stitches. Now don't stretch until the end because you're gonna change to black strings. Okay, so we are right now here. Next, we're gonna change from yellow to a different color. So on your end, you're gonna use 2 black strings, but I'm gonna use 2 light brown strings. That because it's hard to follow black strings on tutorials. Therefore, we're gonna use color light brown. So first of all, I'm gonna open up the yellow stitch, and we're gonna I did a video on it, how to change from a box stitch from yellow, for example, to another color. So you can watch there. So taking a first string, and again you need to use the color black, getting underneath the yellow and just on the other end. See, finding the center of a brown string, and do the same on the other side, on the horizontal side, taking from here on the right, crossing it until you get to the other side, on the left side. Doesn't matter if a second brown is over the first brown, or the first brown is over the second brown. That doesn't matter a bit. After doing that, stretching the yellow stitch, now I want to join all the two pairs of yellows on the vertical and the 2 pairs of yellows on the horizontal, vertical and horizontal, with your thumb, just pinching the stitch, getting as close as it can possibly get to each other. Next, we're gonna cut the strings, the yellow strings. So reach until you get to the stitch, until you have no more. You can't reach anymore, so moving close to the stitch as you can get. Next, I'm gonna take my thumb and try to reach to the endings and press until the following. So not too much, not too more, not really know exactly how much needed to go back and push the thumbs, but I think that's okay here. And next I'm gonna glue a stitch. Next I'm gonna make 3 more box stitches. So we'll see. First stitch is always the annoying one. You need to check first stitch if it fits. So by pressing the stitch, okay, looks fine for me. So enough measure. What I did right now on the just before when I push with my thumbs. This is the correct measurement that you need to do in order to have a nice fitting stitch. And if you didn't manage at your best, I said in the beginning that you need to try to do it a couple of times before making your ear. So after making the third stitch, I will check my Pikachu. Press the endings so it gets flat. The endings will be removed just by pressing the stitch. If your fingernails looks good, and that's what you'll get. So I want you to make black strings, to do it with black strings and not light blue. Okay, I finished gluing and I'm gonna wait. Meanwhile, I'm gonna change it back to black, and you can see the footage on the down below. I'll put a unlisted link to it. Next, I'll make the right ear. I have 3 new strings, one which is a little bit longer than the 2. The long string will be 1.5 feet long, about 65 centimeters. 2 short strings will be 1 feet long, which is about 40 centimeters. I'll take the long string, gonna insert through specific loops. So firstly I'll start from getting through here. Okay, so from this loop, and then next inside this loop, and then through this loop. So let's show you. Taking the long string underneath, next through this loop here, so from left to right, Okay, I'll tighten up a stitch, well, the string, slowly enough. Okay, so make sure it's not twisted just by stretching the string. Okay, next, getting through the final loop. So opening the loop. Okay, so this loop here. And that's it for now for the string. Finding the center. Next, I'll insert the first short string through a created loop, which I'll show you. So you see the long string in between the left and the right loop here. Grab your string and create a loop. Okay, you insert the short string through the loop. So through the loop here, and then outside inside this loop here, through this loop here. So firstly through here, and then on the way inserting through here, kind of like this. So we'll show you very slowly. Hopefully it will be clear. So I'll take the short string, insert through the loop. Okay. And then for a second loop, and that'll be it. See how it snaps. So again, this is something that is a little bit confusing. I hope that I gave a good view. Stretch it again. String. The final string will be inserted through a loop that I'm gonna create with the long string. So this is the long string. It came here, now it's a loop here, and it passed up to here. So our new loop, inserting through here, and then ending up to this loop here. So let's demonstrate. In between the loop, and getting through the last loop. I'll show you in a moment what we got. Okay, so let's show you. Have a string, went through the loop here, and then passed over here. And now it will snap. until we stretch the string again, and we just see that the new string went from here underneath the long string and then through a loop that was created with the first stitch of a Pikachu and came outside here. So that's it with all the strings, and now we'll make the stitch. Firstly, finding the center of all the strings, make sure they are at the center, measuring it, and we will begin. The stitch is a right hand stitch. Okay, so this string is on the right, this string is on the left, and weaving accordingly. So this will be first, second, third, and fourth. And we'll make a couple of stitches. Let's show you. We'll make 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches. So that's the first one. Make another 3. First stitch is important. Make sure it looks nice on all sides. Making our 3 stitches. Second stitch, or depends on how you count. See, it looks symmetric. That's the whole point. We want symmetrical strings, symmetrical ears. Next, we'll reduce the stitch. I'm gonna make, as before, a box stitch. So after stretching the stitch, we're gonna reduce to a box by taking 4 strings, make a box with them, while taking these two and put them in between the stitch. So let's show you. Really simple. Now taking the two strings underneath first and over a second, same as on the left side, underneath the first and over a second. That's how you reduce the stitch in my way. Okay, good. Stretch a stitch. You'll need to make one more stitch before doing before pulling the middle strings, and it's gonna be, you see at first the stitch isn't well stretched, and you'll never be able to stretch it maximally. Just try your best, and right away, right after making the box, make another box with the same strings. And again, I said it on the first ear, the exact same tips. I don't have any other tips to give when stretching the stitch. Just create the box while keeping the middle strings in between. Stretch the stitch again. And that's how you get it, supposed to, at least. Now, times 2 pull the strings. Stretch again. And it keeps getting, you see, every time you pull over the middle strings, you need to stretch again. And that's how it is. And again, if you want more tips, check out the description on the other ear. I've given some tips there. I'm gonna cut it to strings. Gonna glue the stitch, and let's continue. We'll make 2 box stitches. And before stitching, I'm gonna insert the 2 new strings to change. So we've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stitches. In here also 1, 2. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Anyway, just counting. Now I'm gonna change from the yellow to the 2 new strings, and I've got 2 light brown, and again you're gonna use 2 black strings instead of 2 light brown strings. Okay, I'm only doing light brown because you won't be able to see if I use black strings. So again, just with the same with the left right ear, we're gonna do the same thing. So we're gonna change from yellow to light brown. Take a first light brown string, put it on the other side. So from here to the other side of the stitch, and do the same with the brown, the other brown. So from here to the other side. So one horizontally and one vertically. Vertically and horizontally. You can see. Okay. So one is over the next, doesn't matter which brown is over which. I'm gonna stretch a stitch, a yellow stitch. Oops, excuse me. Gonna make sure it's the two sides are close to each other. So try to take your thumb and second finger and try to push two sides close to each other, so the horizontal two strings next to each other and the vertical two strings next to each other. And once you've done that, I'm gonna cut the strings, the yellow strings. Okay, next. I want to take my thumb and try to press very gently. So I think not up to the end, but maybe halfway through. So have a very small bit of a string outside, not that much, not all the way, because I think all the way is not that good. Once you've done that, I'm gonna glue a stitch. Okay, next we're gonna make 3 box stitches, and that will be it. Always check the outside of a stitch, especially the first stitch. Okay, see, always check. So let's make another 2 box stitches. Yeah, you see you get always free box stitches for a black string. And again, yes, I'm using light blue, light brown strings, but you're gonna use black strings. So that'll be it. You have your 3 stitches, and then you're just gonna cut the strings and do the eliminate the endings of the strings, and then cut the then glue a stitch. So doing that, and then see every ending I push until it snaps. So you might feel the snappings that will be created, and then glue a stitch. And again, I'm gonna change back from brown to black strings by cutting the brown strings and then changing to black strings. So the footage there will be in a link down below. You can check it if you are interested. But again, it's not something that you're required to watch. And after changing from brown to black, this is how it should look like on your side. So next we're gonna make his tail. See ya.